So it's another beautiful sunshiny day in Okanagan, British Columbia. We're going to show you around the Tantalus Vineyard and Winery today, and the beautiful thing is the brand new facility they've just put in here. So let's walk around, go taste some wine and see what they have to offer for us. Hi everybody, welcome to Mike Nierychlo Online. We're standing here in Tantalus's Vineyards in their old vine Riesling plantings. It's kind of what they're known for. I'm joined today and welcomed and thank you very much for having us, David. He's the winemaker here at Tantalus. Great to meet you. Why don't you just give us a little bit of the history of the plantings and the things that have gone on at Tantalus and where the grounds kind of came from?
Well, we're in the old vines, as you said, planted in 1978, some of the first vinifera vines to come into the Okanagan Valley.
Okay.
Something we're very proud of. Den Dulick, who lives, you're probably not going to get it in the shot, but still lives in the house just down here, owned the property. Yeah. Before Tantalus was ever born, and he was responsible for planting all those older plantings that we have. We've then taken out some of the other varieties that he had planted and planted new Riesling as well, because we really see this site as being a Riesling and a Pinot Noir site. Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically in 2004, our current owner, Eric Savix, bought the property off Den, but retained him to do some of the vineyard work, etc. Okay. And then the Tantalus label was born. The Tantalus.
Now, around what year was the Tantalus label brought about, and what time did you guys start getting popularity?
We got popularity after the 2005 vintage, when that was the first vintage we released as the Tantalus label, although the property was acquired in 2004.
Okay. Yeah. And that label was how do we put it, endorsed by Jancis Robinson for you?
Yes, it was. She came to Canada and tasted about 70 different wines that were presented to her by some sommeliers and wine media at the time. Mm-hmm. And she rated our wine extremely highly, along with a couple of wines from Ontario as well, but it certainly didn't hurt us, that's for sure.
For a first vintage, what a great start that is. Yeah. That'd be really exciting for you guys.
Very exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Well, you can see the really neat terraces, the old vines. I mean, the gnarly earth that these vines are growing in, which is kind of perfect for what grapevines need. Let's just move on and see what else they can show us in the vineyard here. So we're up in the Pinot Noir block, again, of Tantalus Vineyards, and joining us now is Jane, the general manager of Tantalus. Hi Jane, it's very nice to meet you,
nice
pleasure.
To meet you as well.
Yeah, thank you for having us. So like I said, we're in the Pinot Noir block. We talked a little bit about your Riesling down there, and Tantalus is known very much for their Riesling and their Pinot Noir. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your Pinot program?
So the Pinot program is based on the Spätburgunder clone.
Okay.
So some 1985 plantings of clone 91 and 93 Spätburgunder. And then when Tantalus took over the property, we decided to plant some Dijon clones, so 667, 777, all the fun clones that everyone's using around the world for great Pinot. And so basically we're cropping fairly low. We bring the grapes in and then handle them as gently as possible. Cold soak, etc., etc., and then basically trying to make it as close to a Burgundian style as opposed to the New World style.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Great. And you guys say you like to practice organic farming practices, which I'm assuming a lot of you people out there would like to know more about. I mean, organics is a huge thing, green thing coming up in the future. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your organic practices?
So we changed over in 2007 from some conventional farming into practicing organics, mainly because we believe in the long run it's better for the environment, obviously, but also better for wine quality. Mm-hmm. We want the grapes to be in as natural an environment as possible and use as little false chemicals, etc., to produce quality.
Okay, excellent. Actually, another question I have for you. All your fruit for your wines come from just your facility and your land. You're not sourcing from the rest of the Okanagan, so you have great control over your terroir. So your or sense of place, for you that don't understand terroir. they're really tasting your land and your vines.
Yes, exactly.
Which is excellent. That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think the organics also contributes to that terroir, where if the grapevine is in balance with its own natural surroundings, and we're not pumping it full of fertilizers and using herbicides and insecticides, etc., we're going to see in the end product more of that land and that sense of place in the wines, which is what we're all about.
Yeah, and a much cleaner, healthier product
exactly,
in turn, right?
Yeah.
Now, Jane, we're standing here. They're very excited to showcase their new facility, which they just completed middle of last year, and we're able to pump into their 09 vintage through the facility as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your new facility?
Yeah, so here we are. This is the new Tantalus Winery. It's about 13,000 square feet. We started construction on it in March and actually made wine in it at the end of September last year, which is an amazing feat.
Yeah.
That's a very short amount of time.
Must have been a very busy year.
It was busy, yeah. We went for sort of a very modern, very stripped down, contemporary look. You can see that in the building.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that the rest of the staff outside of the winemaker and the cellar people have actually finally moved in as well. So we're happy to be in there with our new tasting bar. And what's significant about this building, what we're really proud of, is the fact that it is a LEED candidate building. We're looking for certification in about 4 months. It'll be BC's first LEED certified winery. Okay,
why don't you tell us a little bit more about what LEED stands for?
Yep, Leadership in Environmental and Energy Design.
Okay.
And something special. I mean, essentially what it is it's about energy efficiency. It's the complete design package is approached from a sustainable manner. So we're pretty happy about that. And beyond that, you can see the nondescript white building there. I knew you were going to ask me about it sooner or later. That's our wastewater treatment system, and what's interesting about that is it's called a sequencing batch reactor, and essentially all the waste that we produce in the winery, both the domestic as well as the process, goes into the mysterious building. It goes through a biological process, and what comes out at the end is basically at a tertiary standard, and that means we can use it for irrigation in the vineyard, or we could even pump it back into the winery and use it as grey water in the washing facilities.
Oh, that's great. So great recycling program, great way to
pretty cool. We're
keep
the first,
everything down.
Yeah, first land-based winery in BC also to have this system. So lots of firsts here.
For sure. Well, great. Well, we've covered the new facility, some of the vineyards, everything. We're here to talk about wine, so why don't we just go taste some of what you guys are producing here. So we've made our way up into the tasting room here, and privileged to get to share some wine with Jane and David and see what they have to offer at this beautiful new facility they have set up here.
What we're going to start with is the 2008 Riesling.
Great.
And this is our most popular wine that we make here at Tantalus. It is made in the off-dry style. Has a lovely sort of bracing acidity to it. It is made from both the old vines that were planted in the 1970s as well as some of our younger plantings.
There you go. Well, and earlier you were mentioning something about the earliest plantings of this vineyard. It's been around for a really long time, something about the 1920s or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. It's the vineyard itself has been here since 1927, continuously producing grapes. And it sort of parallels the history of the wine industry here in the Okanagan. Originally it was table grapes, just for eating, and then it was hybrids, and from there it went to vinifera in the 70s. So.
Great. This is a delicious wine. Very nice and food friendly, but it'd be a beautiful sipper on its own too. It's got a hint of a nice creaminess, definitely a nice sharp, mouth-watering acidity to it too that would just cut through a nice creamy pasta or something. And a lot of nice lemon. I almost get some kiwi or something on it as well. It's a beautiful wine.
Thank
I
you.
like that a lot. I mean, no wonder Jancis kind of said good things about you guys. So.
Thankfully, she enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. Some of the nice minerality, flintiness to it as well. So it's not just about the fruit and the acidity. There's some other sort of nice secondary flavors starting to develop in this wine as well.
The mouthfeel is beautiful. It's just a silky, clean, almost slightly creamy mouthfeel. I like that a lot.
Cheers.
And that comes from the terroir that we were talking about earlier, for the fact that we're on a single site and we've got some great soils and the organic practices.
For sure. Well, and not to mention that the vines are that old as well.
It's excellent. Huge. It really is.
For sure. And what else do you have for us?
Oh, what else do I have? I have our 2007 Pinot Noir.
Yep.
And give that a go.
Sure.
This Pinot Noir was made from a combination again of some older plantings that we have, the German Spätburgunder plantings that were planted in the mid-80s, as well as some of the new Burgundy plantings that we have here on site. And if I were to describe this, I would say this is just a really, really pretty Pinot. It's quite soft. It's got a nice bit of acidity, kind of fine tannins, good kind of red fruit characteristics to it.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful nose on it. It seems like a little bit more of an old world style Pinot as opposed to a new world style Pinot.
Just enough funk on it.
It does, exactly. Right. It's a word I like to use in my videos, is funk. It's got a nice little bit of kind of that slight barnyardy funk to it.
Funk in a good way, not in the bad way.
Not in the bad way, no, nothing like that. Maybe a hint of like some forest floor or some slight cedar blocks or something as well. Yeah, or almost like a Christmas cake, something like that. That's quite a nice Pinot. What's the age? It's a 2007?
2007.
This one could use even some more time, but it's drinking very nicely right now.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Some bright, nice red fruits coming through, things like that. So if you ever see this distinct label jump out at you, make sure you try out their wines. You're going to get a really nice, solid product. And you guys have these really interesting native masks on the label. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I see they're displayed up here.
Yep, behind us as well as on the bottles, yeah. Dempsey Bob is the First Nations carver. He's a Tlingit, a member of the Tlingit band on the central coast of BC. He does these magnificent carvings in alder, and they are part of the owner's collection here, his artwork, and we love them. We think they're unusual, they're very distinct, and they're very evocative of British Columbia. So.
Yeah, well, they're just a very standout label. They just jump out. They're quite a classy little one. I really like that. It's a real nice representation of the West Coast. So thank you so much for having us today, guys. That's great. Here's to your continued success of Tantalus Vineyards.
Thank you so
all the
much
best
for
to you
visiting
guys.
us.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting us. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon. And I hope you guys get the chance to come out and visit these wonderful people at Tantalus as well. So thanks for watching today, and we'll see you on the next episode.